Welcome to the Network Build Grow podcast, the show where business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals share their stories, lessons learned, and powerful strategies for building relationships and growing their circle of influence. With Melissa Taylor, your host, each week we'll bring you actionable insights to help you build a better network and a better business. Let's dive in.
Podcast. We are excited to be here with Michael and Katie Catlow. Welcome.
Woo! We're excited to be here too.
Woo-hoo. It's a party anytime these guys are in the house. I'll tell you what, they do travel for a living. I've known you guys for, oh my gosh, years now. I can't even remember how long it's been.
Yeah, probably 4 or 5 years, I think. Yeah, right as you were getting ready. It was probably a year before Network Build Grow officially started as a community membership community.
Yeah, I love that. And you guys have been in travel like the entire time. You know, I love that you've branded your company. I love travel because it's gone through a couple of different iterations. And I love that that's really the core of it. It's just like, hey, if you love travel, think of the Catlows.
Yeah.
That's great. So tell me, why travel and what has brought you to this point in your careers?
Yeah, so I'll start with that one. And so it's kind of we all have a long story, right, with lots of ups and downs, twists and turns. We'll give the consolidated version, but it's interesting because when I was 6 years old and I was playing with some Legos in my room, I remember having a little Lego guy, a little Lego girl with little Lego backpacks. We built a little Lego RV, and I used to drive around my room pretending like I was traveling around the world to the best idea that a 6-year-old could think about. And so when I look back on that, I think with 8 billion people on planet Earth, there's something in our soul that craves adventure, craves like seeing something new. And it's a big, beautiful, bold world. And so from a very young age, I had this desire to travel. Now, I also moved 9 times by the time I was in 3rd grade with my dad's work. We moved around a bunch. But when it came time for the entrepreneurial side of my journey, it was actually from a very dark place in my life. I had actually, it's funny, they say how you do anything is how you do everything, right? And so either go big or go home. Mm-hmm. I had gotten into $297,000 of unsecured credit card debt.
Oh my gosh.
That's not mortgages. That's not car payments, just purely credit cards. And so I ended up like settling them all, paying it off, blah, 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 blah. But I was broke and a bit broken in life. And I thought, I'm 35, 36 years old. I've got to redesign my life. And if I was to redesign it in a dreamy, spectacular way, what would I want it to look like? And I came up with 8 things. I wanted to be able to work from anywhere in the world, have tons of fun, hang out with amazing people, be inspired, inspire others, impact children and communities around the world, travel and if and when and however I want to, and make a ridiculous amount of money at the same time. And it was through a networking event of all things that I met a complete random stranger who changed my life forever, introduced me to the travel business.
Yeah, networking, I'm telling you, can change your life. Now, I also know that travel changed your life because that's how you met Katie.
Yeah.
Yes. So very similarly, I did have some dark times as well that led into joining an amazing travel business. It was not from 6 years old, but I did go through a divorce earlier in my life and was in a place of starting over as well. And so from being an accountant, I then shifted into, I want to be a full-time personal trainer. So I was full-time into the fitness industry, but full-time now single and figuring things out. And I found this thing called, Fit to Go or Fit. Anyway, I forget the exact name of it, but it allowed me to go to an all-inclusive resort and do fitness training and do group classes for the resort for like a week. And I did that. And somebody came up to me and asked, and at the time I was starting into entrepreneur, I was doing some network marketing and things, but nothing had really taken off. And so I was driving myself crazy, teaching all kinds of classes, going to every single gym and 1099 here, here, and here. I used to say, if there was a gym in the Spartanburg, Gaffney area in South Carolina, then I trained at it. I worked at it because that's how I made a living. But while I was at that resort, someone came up and said, "Oh, so you just travel around and teach fitness at these resorts everywhere?" And I went, "Not yet. I don't do that yet." I had never even thought about it, but that was the first inkling of, well, what if I could just do something this fun that also married fitness and traveling and being at nice resorts all in one. So it wasn't long after that I did actually go to a resort. I was not teaching, I was on vacation, and we shook hands at the airport, and the rest is history, as you say. So that's how we met.
Yeah, that's so great. What a great story. I mean, that's amazing.
There's lots of little cool pieces in it. That's the, Cliff Notes version.
Yeah. And then, the movie montage from that point on is things like flip-flops and stilettos. That was a blog for a while, and just some other fun things that you guys have done. You've seen all 7 wonders of the world, or 6 of them, or?
Well, so there's new wonders, ancient wonders, natural wonders. So we've seen multiple wonders. We've been 6 continents, 100 countries between the two of us. If you were to total up what Katie's been to, what I've been to, and the ones we've been together, and so forth. And so we've seen multiple world wonders, but we're on the hook to go see a few more coming up.
I think the actual total is we did see the 7 ancient ones.
Okay.
Well, 6 of them, because Machu Picchu.
Right, Machu Picchu.
So 6 of the 7 that are considered like the ancient or the original. Those are the ones that we've seen. Yeah.
That is completely amazing. And it's just so much fun. So we need to do a movie montage about you guys. That'd be very fun. So looking back, Michael, you said that networking obviously changed your life in a couple of different ways. How has networking really impacted your business once you did open kind of the travel business?
Yeah, well, it's even before the travel business, right? The way that I would put it is when cool people get together and talk about opportunity, like it's amazing the things that come from that. And so I've never been one to just like, let me do an advertisement or let me pay for this and so forth. It was always like, who do you know? How can I help you? How can you help me? How can we work together? Is there an opportunity for us to partner on something? Or even going to like networking functions, if it wasn't something that me and another person were in similar businesses, but like, let's say I was going with a landscaper and I was a travel agent, right? We might go to a networking function and I would be on the lookout for people looking for landscaping services, because we know like at networking events, sometimes everybody's there to talk about themselves, right? Let me tell you about me. Let me tell you how great I am. Let me tell you about my business. And it really flipped the script when 2 of us would go and we would look for each other's potential contacts. So we would go, and just ask questions like, oh, that would be relevant to that other person's business. And then when we would find somebody and go, oh my gosh, you've got to meet Bart, and walk them over at that event and do an introduction, versus me saying, let me tell you how great I am. It was, let me tell you how great they are. And they would be doing the other thing, saying, tell you how great they are, let me tell you how great Michael is at what he does. And so that third party introduction, that warm introduction, that referral right there on the spot, and or if it was followed up after, that's where I think the magic really came from. And to me, it was way more fun. It was way easier. It was way cheaper. It was, you could really get into, is this person a really good fit, or are they just like a tire kicker? And so just networking to me has always been the easiest and most fun way to build a business, really.
Yeah, that's like the wingman theory, right? Yeah. Like, let's go with a wingman. And but I love that. I love that concept.
Yeah, sometimes there'd be like 3 or 4 of us, and you have to have the right people that are there to do it with you and so forth. But there'd be like a group of 4 of us that would go sometimes, and we called ourselves the 4 Musketeers at times. And it was just always, always how can you help somebody else? How can the givers gain, right? How can you serve others? And karma and however it all works always seem to come back to all of those people that were involved. Their business is growing.
Yeah. And I think that lends to why it's important to get deeply involved with a couple of groups, because then you start to know what all the people in the group do, and you can be that person that connects people. So Katie, how about you? Like, what's networking meant to you?
So it's interesting. So I really didn't network much until meeting Michael. So a little more of my story was I graduated college and went straight into corporate life. So just accounting, and then was doing personal training, which people were I'm at the gym, and networking was just, oh, can you train me? Like it was really simple to find clients. Right. So I didn't really join networking even until I met Michael. And I have a funny story that involves you. So the first networking event that I ever went to was one of yours, and I had never met you.
Really?
It was in person. It was in Charlotte before the pandemic, before Network Build Grow. I don't even remember. It might have still been called Network Build Grow. I don't know if you had that name, but it was an event in Charlotte. We had been traveling. I think we'd been together maybe 6 months. So still very, very, very new in quote unquote relationship, business, all the things. And I was the classic girl who came to an event with her boyfriend and was like, okay, I'll just follow him around and I'll learn from Michael and whatever he does, and I'll just smile and it'll be fine. And Melissa handed me a card and said, you're in a different group. And I was like, that stinks.
She was so mad at you. She was so mad at all the concept.
I was like, what is she doing? I don't know how to talk to people. This is terrible. So completely.
Oh, because we do the thing where we separate you into groups to meet other people.
Yes.
With the cards.
Oh, with the cards.
I'm here to meet other people. I'm here to just be right here and go.
But it was that event.
So trial by fire, because I was like, okay, I'm very uncomfortable, but I'm gonna figure this out and just. So there's more on that later. So if there's a tip for people, like out of your comfort zone and just, jump in, sink or swim. But that event was the very first one that I met Rita, and she's been one of my best friends ever since. So it's amazing who you can meet.
Wow.
What can happen, even if you're like, oh shoot, I don't want to do this, or I'm uncomfortable. So
yeah.
That's so funny. So now what I heard was that at one event you started to not like me and you love Rita.
And then I eventually grew to like Melissa as well, because I got over she made me do something I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So I had no idea that was like your first networking event that you had ever been to. That's kind of fun. I remember you being there. It was actually in a hotel ballroom. Yeah, I remember meeting you guys for the first time, and that's been years and years. Like you said, pre-pandemic. So it's been a lot of years ago, this being 2025 at the date of this recording. So
yeah, it's funny. Right. The opposites between us, because I love networking and talking with people. And Katie was like, I'll just go with you. And then I traveled all over. She lived in a 45-mile, radius, flip-flops and stilettos. Amazing how opposites, but even particular to networking in business, it doesn't matter what your Clifton strengths are, like Kristen would do. It doesn't matter what your personalities are. It doesn't matter what your gifts are. There's a place for everybody if you get to be you. And that's one of the great things about like NBG or Network Build Grow is there's a spot for everybody, and all the different events that you host and the community hosts that really gives people an opportunity to network in a way that feels comfortable for them.
Yeah. So
we're uncomfortable.
We're uncomfortable. Yeah, we're uncomfortable.
A little bit on your limits as well. So that's good.
Yeah. So let's chat a little bit about how when you go to networking, because as we all know, networking is not an event, right? It's a lifestyle. But when you are networking and you're having those conversations, you're building your relationships, how do you start to kind of shift the conversation back to your business, to their business, so that you can make sure that, we're all here to build relationships and, have friends. And we had one guest on that said, hey, I don't need a gajillion more friends. You also need leads, you need referrals. But how do you seamlessly kind of make sure that comes into the conversation?
Yeah. You want me to touch on that?
Yes.
You got something to say?
No, I was going to give it to you because you're really good at that. Also, Michael's really good at never bringing it back to us. And I think that's one of his strengths is he's very good at, I said I was going to let you go. He's very good at continually keeping the conversation around them, which almost makes them eager, or like it's a challenge because he won't answer their questions, but not like in a weird way. Like he'll just, but what do you feel about this? Or what do you feel about that? And then they're like, my goodness, will he ever just tell us what they do? So I think it creates like a curiosity, which I've enjoyed watching. But I'll let you share what you.
Yeah. So I think there's a fine balance between how do I build a long-term relationship that could potentially turn into a client, a customer, a referral partner, a strategy, something like that, versus how do I make a sale today and earn money and serve my clients and put food on the table, right? So there's a fine balance between there. And I think if anybody was to pause and step back for a second and look at their own lives and say, who have been the people that have had the biggest impact in my life, whether it's entrepreneurial or not, it's probably something that's been long-term, right? And so I'll give a quick example. When I look at networking, I know that whether I do business with them today or there's a high probability something cool is going to come out of this relationship at some point in the future. And so we actually just completed a project in 2025 that was a big project, a paying project, an exciting project, something that we were able to like fulfill our gifts and give to the travel community. And it came from somebody that I've never done business with, that I've known for 22 years.
My goodness, there's a record.
However, for 22 years, we've stayed in touch. We've gone, he's an entrepreneur. He owns multiple businesses himself. We've always said, man, but we're in complete, like he owns a jujitsu studio, right? And other businesses. And it was because of the branding of We Love Travel that he just met somebody and said, hey, I really think you should at least talk to these guys and see where it goes. So it's like, I know that there's the possibility of that in the future. And so there's a poem by Oriah Mountain Dreamer. And the poem starts off by saying, it doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for. I want to know who you are as a person. And from that, there's a whole poem in that, a whole description in that. But with that mentality, it's like, I don't care if I make a sale today. I don't care if you refer me today. I want to know, are you the caliber of person that I would want to invite over to the house and have dinner with? Are you the type of person I would want to be friends with? And from there, I don't know how to describe it. The business just happens. Referrals just happen and things just flow. And so there's obviously, just to wrap it up, there's sometimes when you're at an event and a person goes, oh my gosh, I didn't even know somebody like you existed. I need what you have. Or, oh my gosh, my sister was just planning like her 60th birthday trip to Paris, France, right? Can you help her with that? So depending on your business, you have to just drop little hints, little nuggets. And that's one of the things I see with people in networking is they get so deep into the minutia of what they do in a 60-second conversation with people. And you can see people's eyes glaze over and they're not and all that. So it's like, keep it fun, keep it light, keep it surface level to then see, is it worth it to go deeper? So it's that fine balance between, do you sell? Do you push? Do you like ask leading questions? Actually, all right, last thing. A mentor of mine said, people's BS meters are really high.
Really high.
If you are going into it and you're scripting your questions to try to make it like you're having a conversation, but you're really trying to set them up to then say, oh, well, I need to do a meeting with you to do your da-da-da-da-da. People can feel that. And so just be you, be real, be friendly. And I believe business flows from that.
Yeah, no, I completely 100% agree with that. It's one of the reasons why Network Build Grow, we do things different, right? We're about building relationships and helping each other out. And from that, we see a lot of referrals and a lot of business happen, but we're not keeping track of it.
But with you, one of the tips that you've given, which I think is fantastic, I had never even really thought about it before you said it, was if you can see the RSVP list ahead of time of who's going and do a little bit of research, because if there are 50 people there, right? Yeah, maybe there's the hope that you meet the right person, but if you can do a little bit of research and then target that conversation and then still be friendly and still be open and still be all of that stuff. So that was a great tip that you've given in some of your Melissa's moments, right? About networking is a contact sport and networking is a business and how to follow up. Like if you can find that, and that's one of the great things about NBG as well, especially with our huddles, our strategic collaboratives, and for the members, because most everybody has their profile and how to refer to their details. So you can actually do that research before getting on a huddle.
If you network for your business, you already know follow-up is everything when it comes to growing relationships and driving success. But here's the thing. Most of us want to follow up well. We just get stuck. Staying consistent, keeping it personal, making it stand out, it's hard. That's why I use NetEffect.io. It makes follow-up simple, cuts through all the noise, and helps me stay on top of every relationship without dropping the ball. I never miss a follow-up, and honestly, my network wouldn't be the same without it. So check it out, NetEffect.io. And right now, you can use promo code NBG50 for 50% off of your first month. NetEffect.io, your secret weapon to unforgettable follow-up. So let's talk about that. You actually just mentioned that you've stayed in touch with somebody for 22 years. I know you have another example of somebody that was like about 10 years and you just now did business with them. What is your go-to stay in touch kind of process?
Yeah. So I'll go real quick and then I'll let Katie answer more. But we love connecting with people on social media, right? And it's also not just social media, it's social networks. So we look at social media as networking on steroids or networking emphasized, which you can do from anywhere. So if we meet somebody in person and we've had a great relationship, we want to connect with them on what platforms they're comfortable with. And that's one of the things we do love LinkedIn, but we also like the personal ones as well, because we want to know who the people are. So the other thing is I'll just send text message. Like I have an Excel spreadsheet. I'm old school. I have an Excel spreadsheet of names. I have it categorized by total contacts, warm contacts, hot contacts, best contacts. And those that are like the people I want to be around, I just send them random texts here and there, or just random calls and say, hey man, just thinking about you. Hope all's well. Really appreciate, the time we've known each other, and just things like that. And again, it's not scripted. It's really when it is felt that I do that. But when we're connected on social media, if you want to touch on that, like it's an easy way just to kind of stay refreshed on what's going on.
Yeah. To add to that, one of the most fun things that I like I really do enjoy creating our content. And like you say, the movie montage, like I love our story. It's very easy for me to say my favorite love story is mine. So I love our story and I love posting those things. But another fun thing, and I do make it a little bit, I'm going to say discipline just because it needs to be done, but it's not discipline as in it's a chore of, okay, well, let me physically go out to the people that I've met and go to their page and see what they're saying and see what their stories are. And that is another thing that we love about the personal platforms, the Instagrams and the Facebooks, because they are a little more personal. And so we can see, oh, so-and-so's got a kid graduating from college, or they just went on a big trip. And that is our business. So if you just went on a trip and I comment, hey, how cool was your trip? And you tell me all about it. That's not me asking for business, but that's reminding you, oh yeah, they do travel too. So if you look into their lives, it gives you a way to talk to them like a friend instead of just, oh, hey, I have the form email of, it's been 3 weeks since we met at this thing. That's no fun. I'd rather go see what they're doing and then, congratulate them on something they've done. And that's what I love in LinkedIn. If I do spend time in LinkedIn, it's usually, let me see what you're doing in your business and then give you props or congratulations, or help them share their information. That's another thing.
Share a lot.
Yeah, share the stuff. I know you guys share a lot. So I love that what you said is that you look into what they're doing, what they're posting, and you respond from a personal human perspective instead of from oh wow, you went on a trip, let us help you with your next one. Like that's not what you do. You just say, that's a great trip, I've been there before, what was your favorite part, how was it? Just having a conversation. Wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful. All right. Well, let's do a little rapid fire networking tip. Ready? Rapid fire. Okay. Rapid fire. Here we go.
First answer.
All right. First answer that comes to your mind. I feel like, what's that one show? First answer is on the board or whatever. Family Feud, right? First answer that comes to mind. What is one tool, app, or system that you use to manage your connections? And that one goes to Katie because we know Michael's a spreadsheet.
Yes, this is a spreadsheet. So ours is a little different, but it's travel specific. The name of it's Turn, but it lets us do itineraries and keep a CRM in as well, and like a task list. So the name of it's Turn, but it's like an all-inclusive CRM itinerary builder.
Yeah. But the point is, you have a system.
Yeah. It's got automations thanks to you with birthdays and all that type of stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. Wonderful. All right, here we go. What is your number one tip for starting a conversation at a networking event, Michael?
Look them in the eyes, smile, and ask them about them, right? Again, I see so many people wanting to even ask or share so that they can share. And if we remember, people are mostly interested in their own business, what's happening for them. They're there to get business themselves. If you are the one that asks them about them and them and them and them, you're probably the one that's going to be remembered over the other people that just gave them the card because you made them feel special.
I'm going to rapid fire on top of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think you had this one in your book, but I've used it before and loved it. If you're more introverted and looking someone in their eye and like starting that conversation scares you to death, I used to be there. if you wear something interesting, and I don't mean like crazy, but like a fun pin or like a brooch or something that's just kind of, or a bright color, a lot of times people will come up to you and start the conversation for you. Like if you had like something that just kind of stands out, they're like, oh, those are really cool earrings. Like, it can be that simple. And then the ice is broken and you can move on from there. So
yes. And I know I have been witness to several people starting conversations with Katie based on her stiletto shoes.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. And so that definitely is an eye catcher, and people start the conversation up with you. So with that in mind, Katie, since you are a little bit more introverted, which I wouldn't ever know that from knowing you for the last 5 or 6 years, but if you see other people at an event that seem like they're on their phone, they're kind of over by the wall, they're sitting down, they're not getting involved, what is a good way to help them kind of navigate into some of the conversations?
Take them by the arm and take them with you. And like, as an introverted person, I'm better at that now. So you can learn things for sure. But if someone, it's different than if someone comes and just talks to me. But if you take me to a group and just introduce and then keep your conversation going, so that I, the introvert, don't feel pressured to like, oh, what am I going to say next? And what if this is weird? And there's that awkward silence. Go to them and say, hey, would you want to come meet some people with me, and take them with you? And then you're still in charge of the conversation. And then it's almost even okay if you leave them there, like you can step away, because now you've broken the ice and they can kind of talk to which one or find one that they like. But
again, another good reason to go deep into a group instead of having like 12 groups that you're a part of very shallowly, because you know who you can introduce that person to once you learn what they do, and kind of put them into conversations that would benefit everyone.
Yeah. Well, you do a great job at your events, right? Because you're not allowed to sit down when it's working time. Because if somebody's outgoing, they still feel excited to be a part of the group. If they're not as outgoing, they've gotten an assignment and a task and like a homework thing to do with their cards and so forth. So it's really great.
Yeah, that structured networking, we hear a lot, that a lot of people really like that, because it's amazing how many people are introverted that you just wouldn't even think they are, but they have a hard time going up and starting a conversation. So that structured networking helps.
Tip for everybody: if you're at Melissa's event and the timer goes off, though, stop and let the next person go. Right? Pay attention to the little.
Pay attention to the timer. All right. So one other question, really quick: what's your feeling on actual business cards versus digital business cards?
My personal thought: I don't like digital business cards at all, because if somebody. It depends on how they do it, but most people are just like, oh, here's my digital business card. They send it to me. I save it as a contact, but I have 6,500 contacts in my contact list. So there's no reference point. Whereas if I have a physical business card and I'm like, I can then go in and put that information and put little notes. Now, if somebody gives me a digital version and we take the time, right? Because I might then put in the notes, or I do like first name, last name, and then sometimes company name, met at NBG at, this certain place and so forth. So to put my little notes in there so that I can easier search it. But especially people who travel all the time, we don't have any physical cards right now. So we end up connecting with people on social media, and that way we can have them in our feeds. But digital business cards, I personally don't like them. Personal.
Okay. How about you, Katie?
I don't think I have a preference one way or the other. Because I would say that I'm more of the social media person. So if you give me one, it's probably going to go in my purse or in my bag, and then I'm going to lose it, type of thing, unless we make some kind of real connection.
To connect with them.
Right. And so I'd rather make the real connection, and then, are you on social media? Which one is it? So that's easier for me.
Yeah. And it's so great that everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. Okay. Last question, and then we'll wrap it up. What's a common mistake that you see at networking events?
Trying to be something that they're not. Like we even talked about it even this afternoon, getting ready for this podcast today, of like, even if you are introverted and scared to death, like, I'm looking back thinking, man, I should have just told everybody in the room, like, this is not something that I do. This is my first day. I'm so nervous, but I'm excited to be here. So like, just owning who you are is really, really key. I mean, very few people in this world are going to laugh you to death and like say, oh my goodness, I can't believe you said that, or you feel that way. So just being honest with people about who you are and what you do. And, if you're nervous about sharing your business, then you can be nervous and say, but I really love what I do. and I'm excited to like grow it and do these things. So just be.
Yeah, I actually heard somebody say one time at a networking event, she was like, look, I am horrible at marketing, and it's a good thing that's not what my business is.
Yeah. Like,
She's like, I hate introducing myself, and good thing that that doesn't matter. You know,
Right.
and then she told us what her business was. But yeah, I absolutely agree. Just take off the mask.
Yeah.
Take off the mask. How about you, Michael? You have a common mistake you want to share?
So I think I want to flip the words from common mistake to something that could be enhanced for a lot of people, because there is online networking and then in-person networking. Online networking on Zooms, if you people would please smile while on the Zoom, right? So let's call it a common mistake as well. If it's a networking and somebody's going around talking about who they are in person, we can tell if you're checking email. We can see your eyes going here and there, right? We can see when your mouth just sits, because you're not just listening with your mouth open, right? You're doing something else. So be present. And if you're in person as well, whether you're introverted or extroverted or whatever, I believe like your business, especially for solopreneurs, small business owners, our businesses are an extension of who we are.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just this thing that I do to make money. So it has to ooze out of your pores. People have to know you're competent, you're capable, you're excited, you're in service, you're grateful that you get to do this business. And so I see a lot of people trying to just like, right? Like when they talk, like, so again, that's not introverted or extroverted. Just be excited and like smile. If you do that, it's amazing the difference that it makes online and in person.
Yeah. I used to tell people when I speak a lot about networking as a contact sport, I'm like, I literally skip in the parking lot from my car to the place, because skipping just makes you happy, and you just end up happy when you show up. And so, yeah, showing up happy and engaged.
Yeah.
You know, so it's another reason why I tell people to leave their phones in the car, which then you can't have a digital card.
That's right.
Because, you know, because phones are distracting. No matter how much we try for them not to be, they can be distracting.
And they're a crutch. They're distracting.
And they're a crutch.
And they're, oh, I don't have anybody to talk to, so I'll just stand here. But if you don't have it in your hands, you're forced to go find the next person or the next group. So
to talk to. Well, this has been a wonderful conversation, and I am so glad that you guys are not only a part of Network Build Grow, but you're actually some of our leaders in Network Build Grow, and have been since we opened it up as a paid community. And we appreciate everything that you guys do and all of the wonderful things that you contribute to our community. So thank you for being with me today, and we will talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Network Build Grow podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur or professional. And of course, if you're not yet part of our community, visit networkbuildgrow.com to connect with us. Until next time, keep building and keep growing.